Good afternoon, Guyana. My name is Tony Mahaicony, and this is the Wake Up Guyana show. I am your host just for today. I'm filling in for my good friend Leonard Gildari. I'm just filling in for a few days until Mr. Gildari returns. So please bear with me as I try to fill this program in the absence of his host. My name again is Tony from Mahaicony, and I must start out by telling you that I am very new to radio. In fact, I'm so new that today is my first day ever to be on the radio. So please bear with me. I'm sure I'm going to make some mistakes, but that's how you learn, right? I would learn from my mistakes. I would need all your help today. The more you call in and the more you ask questions and give comments, it would make my job a lot easier. Because I don't like to talk a lot, I like to listen to people and their concerns. So just to remind you that you're listening to the Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5, which covers from coast to coast in Guyana. It's streamed live on different mediums. My Tuner app, you can find it on My Tuner app. You can find it on Radio Garden app, Go Loud app, Kaieteur website, www.kaieteurnewsonline.radio. We can also be found on Facebook, YouTube, Traditional Radio 99.1 FM in Demerara and Essequibo, and 99.5 in Berbice. We can also be found on Facebook page Kaieteur Radio, YouTube channel, and website live stream www.kaieteurnewsonline.com/radio, or you can download the MyTuner, Radio Garden, and Go Loud apps to tune in to Kaieteur Radio. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please identify the name of the station that you're listening to right now is frequency Kaieteur Radio 99.1/99.5 FM. There is a place, if you want, you can advertise, place your ad on Kaieteur Radio, streaming live on 7 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. You can call us on 225-8465 or 226-7455 to book your ad or your spot. So again, this is the Wake Up Guyana show with your host, Tony from Mahaicony. The numbers to reach me if you have any questions or comments for today's show, you may reach me at 227-7453. Again, that number is 226. I apologize. The number is 226-7453. That's the landline. Or you can also reach us on WhatsApp or SMS Messenger. No phone calls to this last number, only text messages. And that number is 622-222-2. Again, there's a lot of twos, so let me make it easy for you. That number again is 6, and all the rest of the numbers are twos. So it's 622-2222. So, again, this is the Wake Up Guyana show with your host, filling in for Mr. Gildari, is Tony. And you can call me Tony, or you can call me Mahaicony, or you can call me anything you want. I am pretty open to that. So, let's go to the news. On yesterday, Kaieteur news papers, it reads as follows. This is Sunday edition, January 10th, and it reads, Chinese contractor continues to disregard government deadlines on airport project. The next headline reads, expert says Guyana moving too fast with development of its oil. But Jagdeo tells company to drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. There's also a wonderful op-ed in yesterday's papers. If you please read that at your convenience, is on page 16. And the title of that op-ed is Guyana Oil Sector and the Boulevard of Death. That's the Guyana Oil Sector and the Boulevard of Death. On this op-ed, well written, easy to understand and to follow, even somebody who's a 4-year-old can understand it. Kiana Wilberg did a beautiful job explaining to us about the oil sector. I would just like to read two of the first paragraph of this op-ed, Guyana's oil sector and the Boulevard of Death. And she writes, I quote, by May 2020, I was on my 4th reading of Crude Intentions by Alexandra Gillies, one of the world's most respected experts on oil sector corruption. In that book, Gillies offers readers a deep yet dark cinematic view of how countries have failed with the management of their oil revenues. In chapter 7, Gillies, who is also an advisor at the Natural Resources Governance Institute, also known as NRGI, alludes in a most eloquent fashion how the oil sector can find itself caught at the boulevards of death. I will stop there. But when you have the time, please read that article. It's so well written. Continuing with the front page of yesterday's newspaper, Kaieteur, we read, local authority tax compliance should be mandatory for business transactions. City mayor says local authority tax compliance should be mandatory for business transaction. The next headline reads, President Ali summoned Venezuela rep to Guyana over Maduro decree. Next headline reads, GPL dodges question on energy and demand. GPL dodges questions on energy demand. Next headline reads, government clears permits for over US $55 billion in oil investments by local firms. Let me read that again. Government cleared permits for over US 55 million in oil investments by local firms. APNU plus AFC had them waiting for 2.5 years, according to Vice President Jack Deal. The next headline reads, Brazil to auction 92 oil blocks this year, equivalent to size of just 3 of Guyana blocks combined. I should read it again. Brazil to auction 92 oil blocks this year, equivalent to size of just 3 of Guyana blocks combined. And finally, on this front page of Kaieteur News yesterday, January 10th, newspapers edition, it says, Guyana losing more dollars in the destruction of our fishing industry than what we are getting from oil. Please listen to the Glenn Lowell Show today at 11 a.m. for a rebroadcast. That would be 11 on tomorrow. Again, these are the headlines for Sunday, January 10th, Kaieteur News papers. Today, January 11th, Monday edition, Kaieteur News, and the following headlines reads as follows. Patterson comments to join the PPC in renegotiation, an insult to our collective intelligence, says environmentalist Annette Arjun. Again, that headline, Patterson comments to join the PPC in renegotiation, an insult to our collective intelligence, according to environmentalist Miss Annette Arjun. The next headline reads, Exxon had offered more gas per day than Guyana needs. Exxon had offered more gas per day than Guyana needs, Patterson admits. That's Mr. Patterson admit to Exxon having offered more gas than the country needs. Continuing with the same story, Ghana losing hundreds of millions of dollars per year in similar arrangement. So Ghana is losing hundreds of millions of dollars per year in similar arrangement to the above news item. Next on the news, front page, Kaieteur News, Monday edition, January 11th, reads, Taxi driver killed after slamming into parked truck. Next story, bandit drops gun, scales fence after cops rolled up. Next story, car thief found dead in prison cell. Next story, legislative reform for oil and gas sector won't be done in isolation, according to Attorney General. He says that legislative reform for oil and gas sector won't be done in isolation. The next story, BK International received 70% in payments, but only 15% of works completed for Region 2 Sea Defense. I read that one more time. BK International received 70% in payments, but only 15% of works completed for Region 2 Sea Defense. And last on this page, Monday edition, Kaieteur News, front page. Listen to how the PPC, APNU, and AFC run in this country to benefit themselves. Friends, family, and cronies, listen tonight at 7:20 p.m. on 99.1, 99.5 FM Kaieteur Radio. Again, Mr. Glenn Lowell will be hosting that show on the Glenn Lowell Show. And it says to listen tonight, for tonight discussion will be how the previous government and the current government run in this country to benefit themselves, their friends, their family, and their cronies. And this will be tonight at 7:20 p.m. on 99.1 and 99.5 FM Kaieteur Radio. So those are the headlines of yesterday and today's papers. Again, this is the Wake Up Guyana show. And again, my name is Tony. And please call in with your questions and your comments as I filled in for Mr. Gildari in his absence. I'm your host just for today. And again, if you have your questions, please call 226-7453. 226-7453. That's if you want to call the landline. But this number here, please do not call, only send text or SMS messages. And that number, again, is 622-2222. Again, 622, and then 2 4 times, 2222. This is the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, filling in for Mr. Glenn Diari. Please call in with your questions or your comments that you have for me. At this moment, we will go to a phone call. We go to a break. Thank you. We'll be back in just a minute.
CARICOM Insurance, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Ornack Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Call us on 225-1787 or 269-0020.
Systems of governance and the absence of the rule of law both combine to form the perfect stage for corruption to flourish. As part of our anti-corruption fight at Kaieteur Radio, we invite you to join us every Tuesday evening from 7:30 p.m. as we embark on a most needed quest to remove the tentacles of corruption from our systems. See you then for our latest program called Governance, Corruption, and Justice.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Okay, good afternoon again, folks. This is the Wake Up Guyana show, and again, I am your host just for today, filling in for Mr. Gildari. And again, my name is Tony from Mahaicony. Thank you. I see I'm getting a lot of help from you out there, and I really appreciate your help. If you just joining us, just gonna restate what I said earlier, that this is my first time being on radio, and so it's a learning experience for me. It's a first. So I'm hoping that you will be kind enough to make this a much easier experience by your phone calls, by your comments, and by your questions. And again, I don't like to talk a lot. I prefer to listen more. So we have some questions and some comments we see here online. Here's a great question here. It reads,
Hello.
There is a shortage. I have a phone call. I have a phone call online. Caller,
Hello.
Go ahead with your
afternoon.
question, please, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. I would like to hear from your boss, Mr. Glenn Last. When would he be inviting members of the opposition, the previous government, for come and answer some of the questions he's asking Jack Dew alone? I mean, it's not fair for you to have a opposition who was there just 6 months ago and you're not asking them anything. I would like to hear what, like the one you had on the 23rd of December. I would like to see David Patterson, maybe Russell Trapman, even the finance minister, one of them to come Everybody in Guyana needs to know the truth of the matter. So nobody can say he's lying and she's lying and who is lying. Because Guyana is going to always have this kind of problem with contracts and negotiation, how long you don't change the constitution. Because nobody's going to go to jail for doing anything wrong. We need to have a more open system where even people from the opposition, from private people, ordinary people could be a part of it. I'm hoping you could find out from your boss and he will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling, sir. You're my first caller, and I very much appreciate
Yes, I
you.
was trying for a very long time.
Okay, thank you very much for trying, and thank you
You too.
for calling in. Regarding your question, and I agree with you that we do need those people that you just mentioned to come on the Glenn Lal show or come on any radio show here in Kaieteur Radio. You mentioned some very interesting people, and I'm sure Mr. Lal would love to sit down and have coffee and have a conversation with these people. You mentioned Mr. Trotman and Mr. Patterson and the finance minister, and I'm sure that he would love to be in their presence and have a conversation with them. I can't speak for Mr. Lal, but I can tell you that I'm sure that he's been giving them that open invitation to meet with them and talk with them on his program at any time and anywhere. I hope that they're listening, and I hope that they will come in and have a conversation with Mr. Lal. I must give Mr. Jack Dio some kudos for him being one of the first to come in and have that dialogue with Mr. Lal. And I hope that more will follow. And I agree with the caller that we need more people to lead, more of our leaders to come in and talk to the people of this country. The people of this country have many, many questions for these leaders and other leaders, both on the opposition and on the government side. So thank you again for calling, sir, and we hope that more people would continue to call and give your questions and your comments. If you're having a trouble getting through to us, keep trying. Don't get discouraged, because I'm going to take a lot of calls and talk a lot less. Okay, we have another call on the line. Call, go right ahead. You on the Wake Up Guyana show with Tony from Mahaicony. I am your host just for today, filling in for Mr. Gildari. What is your question or comments?
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Tony from Mahaicony. Yes, I don't know if so much, so much as a comment and not so much a question. Now, what is my concern? Now, last March, the entire world was hit with this COVID. Guyana, no exception. Now, one of the things that would have happened from March to now, a lot of persons would have been out of jobs, right? Now, what I know, the previous government, which is APNU, on the day watch, right, before that would have been before August 2nd of last year, they decided to do something that I think was very much highly commendable. They looked for persons who were out of a job, and they asked you to fill up an application, and you sent it into Ministry of Social Protection via email, or you go in and you give it to them and say, well, okay, I was inconvenienced and I can't pay my bills, whether it's GPL, whatever. And they now would have subsidized your bill because they know, okay, you're out of job and you can't pay your bill. Now, when this government, PPP, took the reins from August 2nd of last year, they decided to change the rule. Now, persons would have already submitted their names waiting for their help because they're still not working, they're still at home, probably trying to do whatever little, but they still can't afford to pay their monthly bill, especially when it pertains to GPL. Now, this government now would have gone in and they say, well, okay, they're not subsidizing anybody's bill. People got to find whatever means and ways to pay their own bill. All they're going to do is take off the 10% VAT. Now, does that make sense to anybody? No, persons would have stopped paying, let me say, from March to December of last year. Most people's bills would either be 80-something thousand into 100,000 based on how your GPL monthly bills may come. Now, GPL now is coming around disconnecting people and saying, hey, we got to find a way of getting money because this government is not giving us any subsidies for y'all, so we have to cut your light. Now, is that fair to that consumer who was inconvenienced not because of their own fault, but because of a pandemic? So I am saying, why isn't this government trying to do much more for persons who really are still in need of help? You understand? I don't want to hear that the president giving public servants money. What about the public servants who are not working? What about the private persons who were working but was an inconvenience because of the pandemic? A lot of persons' businesses would have suffered. I don't think this government has full cognizance of how much people are suffering financially, and they need the help. So I'm just raising it here this afternoon because I heard several people talking about it on various programs, saying that they want the help and they trust that the government could really intervene and help those people that really need help. You understand?
Yes, and I thank you
Yeah.
for calling, and I appreciate that you're calling in, and
Yeah.
I pray that you continue to call in and
Yeah.
share with us your concerns. Thank
Yeah,
you very
you're
much
so
again.
welcome.
You
Bye-bye.
you have a nice day.
You too.
Bye bye. So the caller made some comments. She talked a little bit about the COVID and how it put a financial burden on most people. She talks about the previous government providing jobs, and she talked about the current government not providing those jobs. And then her question was why the government not doing more? Why the government not doing more? It's a very good question, and maybe some can call in and maybe they can answer that question for us. It's a very good question for discussion today. So if you're listening and you have any idea, you can have some answers to these questions, please call in and help us to find the answers to this question. Why the government not doing more? That was the caller's question. As we continue the program, I'm reminding you that this is the Wake Up Guyana show and that you are listening to the Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5, which covers from coast to coast in Guyana. It is streamed live. And again, we have another caller, so let's go quickly to the phone. Caller, thank you for calling in.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Tony.
Good afternoon, sir.
So you actually sound like Mr. Gidari.
I sound like, well, that's a great compliment.
It's not bad.
Thank you so much, sir. You made my day.
Yeah. Sorry, you know something. Then in this country, the government, them only look for themselves. You know, I want to tell you something. I was a representative of the sugar estate. And when you look at what was going on in the estate, you said the government would have helped. You wrote them letters, but you never seek to look at it. When they were trying to find out what is the cost for sugar, the cost for production of sugar is higher than what they're selling for. But it only holds the estate because, you know, they try for employment for the workers, but it was carrying a big loss. And the big loss comes from where? From the management and the workers themselves. You're not blaming one side. But when you wrote the president the letters, I have so many letters I have shown Gidari them, that I have write the President Bharat Jagdev about how many millions of dollars go down without producing a pound of sugar. You pay no heed to it. And, you know, if you got a cake shop and it costs you $1 to make a cake and you got to sell it for 50 cents, what will you do with that industry? You want to close it down?
Yes, sir.
So that is what Mr. Granger did. I mean, let me get Jackie jacket. I mean, he didn't have the deal, but the man was right
Okay.
because you can get a estate grinding and then, you're not making no money. But again, you look at it, the workers suffer, not the management or the ministers and the president of the country suffer. The small man suffer. And so I have letters that they ignore me. And because of telling them these things in letters, they charge me for making untrue allegations and dismiss me summarily from the estate.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir, and I really thank you for calling and thank you for your concern. Please have a nice day and call again, please, soon.
All right.
Okay?
Hey,
Okay.
Where you welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye. So this gentleman concern is the government, as he says, only look after themselves. His concern is that the government care only about themselves and no one else. And we have a question on the table from one of the previous caller. So if you're listening, please call us and see if you can help us answer this question. Her question was, why government not doing more to help? And the number again to reach us by phone is 226-7453. That's area code 592-226-7453. Or you can reach us not by phone call but by text message or SMS only. On WhatsApp, that number is 592-622-2222. Again, that number is 592-622-2222 for WhatsApp or SMS. And answer this question for us. Help us to answer this question. So we have another call. Go ahead, right to the good afternoon, and thank you for calling the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, Tony from Mahaicony. Please go ahead with your
Welcome.
question or comments, please.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I heard on the news today, I stand to be corrected if I heard right, that the Ministry of Human Service stating that the government would give persons $25,000 to start a business, but they got to provide proof that they're not getting money anyway or not working. Now tell me, if so be the case, I've never heard such nonsense. If I am not working, I'm not getting money here or there, where am I getting the documents? Since when Guyana issue documents a person that is not working or is not getting money anywhere? I wish to hear that news again. I don't know if Kaieteur News heard about it, but I listened to the news. I didn't hear Kaieteur News bring it over around 2 o'clock. But I wish if they could rebroadcast that news again. Let me stand to be corrected. I've never heard, and even if people get $25,000, that is an insult because the president, the ministers, they all living big and living large, and if we put them there and they got to be living and eating out of garbage bins, eating next to nothing, what they are going to give we Guyanese $25,000 to do what? Open a sweet tray?
Okay,
or
well,
to sell black pudding or dog food or plantain chips like what Gango Prasad is made. Mock at? Come on, Mr. President. You can do better than that. You're living better than all of us.
Oh.
We need to live good too. We need more than $25,000 because that is not money. And everybody who votes, whether for APNU, whether for AFC, whether for PPP, once they're 18, they voted. And by right, we are demanding that every person from 18 upward get money. And we don't want no $25,000, Mr. Glenlal said. Mr. Glenlal said we should be getting at least $100,000 or $200,000 every month. We need that, and Guyanese got to stop taking $25,000 and feel is wealth they get because it's not wealth. Thank you.
thank you for calling in, and wonderful to have you call and wonderful comments.
Thank you for listening to me.
I appreciate you all calling, and I appreciate you guys are helping me to make this show so easy. And I love to listen to people. I don't like to talk much, but I do like to listen. So you keep calling, I'll keep listening. The caller concern was she heard that the Ministry of Human Services is providing 25,000 for a startup business. So she is not sure if she heard correctly. So if you're listening and you can verify that information, please call us and let us know if that is correct. That the Ministry of Human Services supposedly, allegedly, offering 25,000 for people who wants to start a business. But her contention is, even if it is true, she is saying, she's contending that 25,000 cannot start a business. She went on to say that it wouldn't even start up a dog food business. If you want to buy food to cook and sell for dogs, she's saying that's 25,000. Not her words, but she's saying it's crumbs or it's a joke. She wants at least more than 25,000 to start a business. She also contended that 25,000, she can't even use that if she wanted to do a plantain chip business. So those are some concerns, some callers share with us today. The question still on the table, and no one answered it so far, is why the government not doing more? And another caller stated that government looks only for them, look to take care only themselves and their friends and family. So those are two things on the table. And if you know if you heard anything about this news, about this $25,000 supposed to be offered for people who want to start a business, please call and confirm for us. Going to the Facebook, WhatsApp, we see some comments there. It says, good afternoon, sir. By the way, you don't have to call me sir because I am not a sir. I'm just a school dropout, so I'm not that important. Only people who are important, you should call them sir. They're unimportant people like me. You can just call me Tony. Good afternoon, Mr. Tony. Good day. Welcome to the Gail Diary Wake Up Guyana show as the host. I must start by saying that I really enjoyed the show on Wednesday night, January 7th, with Miss Kiana and Mr. Nandalal. I feel the nation would like the same if Mr. Robert Prasad could be on the show also to answer the oil blocks giveaway. Person continue. Also, sir, there's a shortage of, and he used a big college word here, so I don't know if I'll pronounce it right. It's a medical term, and it's called terrazocin. Terrazocin. Don't know if I'm saying that right. But so this terrazocin is a 2 milligram at the public hospital for a very long time. I think they're saying there's a shortage. Yes, the person is saying there's a shortage of this particular drug, terrazocin. There's been a shortage for a long time, and this tablet is the generic drug of tablet Kaieteur. This person is really putting me to school this morning. I told you I didn't go very far in school. I was a dropout, so don't give me these big medical terms. Anyway, I'm doing my best here. So he continues. It used to treat the symptoms of enlarged prostate that most men over 50 suffers from. Here's his question. Sir, again, could you highlight this topic with the medical department? Thank you. Blessings, GY. Well, thank you, GY, for reaching out, and I hope the relevant authorities in the medical field are listening to these comments that this person is saying that this particular drug, we've been out of it for a very long time. And again, that drug is terazosin. And we need more of it at the hospital because men who have enlarged prostate are struggling from it. So thank you very much for putting that question to us. Again, on the Facebook comments, we got a comment coming in from person says, I can start company, just plant the land. Okay, I'm not following that. The next comment says, we have a progressive government. Don't need lazy bones around. Get up off your hands and go and find a job. Next comment says, don't say that. Everyone is important. Don't say that everyone is important. I'm not sure what that person's referring to, saying everyone is important. Okay, again, you're listening to the Wake Up Guyana show. And again, my name is Tony from Mahaicony, and I'm your host just for today, filling in for Mr. Gildari. Right now, as we're looking at the clock, we look like we're almost an hour up already, and I can't believe it. My first hour on the radio, and I can say that it went by pretty fast. So while we're waiting for this last 2 minutes for any last minute call, I'd like to read quickly from one of our sponsors, CARICOM General Insurance. A better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone number 225-1787. Again, 225-1787. And then second number is 269-0020. 269-0020. CARICOM Insurance. So as we come to the close of this first day, first hour, this first time on the radio, I'd like to thank all of those who called, sent in comments. I thank you for your support. You really made this show and the hosts comfortable. I'm surprised to tell you that I did not feel nervous. I felt right at home. I felt comfortable. And I'm looking forward to doing this every day, Monday through Friday. I can be reached here on the Wake Up Guyana show at 1400 hours or 2 p.m. local time with your host, just for today, Tony from Mahaicony. Today is Monday, January 11th, 2020. May you have a happy new year, and may God give you the desires of your heart for the new year. I'm signing off now. This is Tony from Mahaicony with the Wake Up Guyana show. Thank you. God bless you. And you have a wonderful day.